Good morning. It's Pastor Walter again, and we're going to be studying today for our Sunday school lesson, chapter 30 of Genesis. Excuse me. Now, before we get there, let me wish each one of you a very blessed Thanksgiving Day. Invite someone to your table who ordinarily would not be seated with you. They may not be family. They may not even know that you consider them as a friend, but you may know some special circumstances in their lives. And a Thanksgiving outreach would just be a blessing to them. Pray about that. If it's past Thanksgiving, by the time you view this video, remember what Pastor always says: Thanksgiving Day is too short for me. So let's continue the spirit of thankfulness and generosity all year long. Ready for your lesson? Okay, now, chapter 30 opens with some familiar characters. We see Jacob and his wife Leah. They're involved in an intense conversation. I said Leah, but it is Rachel. Rachel comes to her husband and says, I'm depressed. I'm sad because I don't have any children. I have not presented you with a son. And though we've studied that the birth of these sons was very important in that culture, I have not done that. We studied that with Hannah. The birth of a son was the ultimate gift that a wife could give her husband. And so she was depressed by that. And a lot of times when we're in a depressive state, what we usually tend to do is lash out. When we are despondent or disappointed, we begin the blame game. You remember Adam and Eve? Eve blamed the serpent, and Adam blamed God. Let's look at this generational situation repeat itself. Rachel says, you have not given me any children. It's your fault. You're my husband. That's your responsibility. I don't know what's the matter with you. It didn't happen. And then anger enters into the conversation. And Jacob said, I'm not God, creator, who can make you pregnant or not pregnant. Look at the pattern. Sadness, despondency, disappointment, not being in the station she wanted to be in life. See, it moves to blaming and shaming and then anger. And you have conflict in the home or in the relationship. Is that familiar? You may have run across that. I know I have in our lives. But that's included in the Bible, that we may have an opportunity to learn from it. Amen? Okay, what goes on next? Well, here we go again. You remember Abraham and Sarah? God promised them a child. God was moving too slow, so they decided to help God out using a handmaiden. That was not the will of God. So Rachel has an idea. I will allow you, because I'm in competition with my sisters. Competition and comparison is not always the will of God. So I will let you, Rachel said, go in and be with my servant girls, and they will give you sons, and I'm going to claim them. That was not the will of God. So 6 sons later, the will of God had not been accomplished, because the Lord was looking for one particular child. And the Lord will let us flounder around like a fish out of water until we make the decision, the choice to trust Him. And the Lord always has His time set to do what He wants to do. So all this frustration, she's had all of these children by these other women, surrogate parents. She's not satisfied because she knows that the Lord has something for her. And finally, she gets pregnant. All we have to do is to wait on the Lord. Now, we talked before, the activity of waiting is not sitting still. It's being fervent in the word. It's being faithful and being prayerful and full of hope and expectation. Amen. God will never run out of time. We are entities of time. So here comes Joseph, baby Joseph, and Jacob realizes it's time for him to move, and he goes to his uncle Laban and said, I need to move on down the road, go back and restore some relationships. Now, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. We need to be about the practice of restoring broken relationships in our lives. But Laban said, no, let's look at here. I realize that God Jehovah has blessed you with your ability to manage my livestock, but it appears to me that your family, Jacob, is doing better than mine. You need to give me an opportunity to catch up, and then you can go. So here comes the trickster back out in Jacob. Jacob said, okay, I'll agree to that. In his mind, as he walked away, he said, I'll show him. So he has a scheme. He comes up and he fortifies the drinking water for his cattle. And he requested the ones that were spotted and the ones that were had coloration on them. Some writers say that he picked those because the black wool was softer and sold for a higher price. Some writers say just the opposite, that the pure white that needed less processing was the one that was most expensive, and Laban did not care if he got the ones that were spotted or the ones that had dark fur on them. I don't know, but he picked the ones that were spotted and the ones that were black, and he fed them a fortified liquid solution that gave them strength and power and the ability to breathe. The Lord gave him this gift of intelligence. And Sunday school class, a lot of times we are blessed with a gift from the Lord, but our application is unholy. Let me say that again. We are blessed with a gift from the Lord, but how we use that gift does not honor him. Think about that. Think about that this morning. So at settle up time, Laban got all these little scrawny animals, and again, Jacob has become rich. His animals go for top price. He has a huge staff, and he's ready to go home. God has provided and blessed him in spite of himself. Now, we won't talk about that this morning. It's still time for us to reflect on Thanksgiving in our class. We want to talk about that. Tell the class how the Lord has blessed you in spite of yourself. Amen. How he has taken spotted situations in your life and made them glorious. Pray for those who are traveling this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend. We don't want to provide the enemy any opportunity to steal from us, our loved ones out on the dangerous highways. Pray for the people in California who are having difficulty with fires and floods and rain and fire, and also those who have lost loved ones because someone who's deranged or very selfish decided to take life that they did not create. Happy Thanksgiving. Be blessed. This is Pastor Walter. God bless you.